Thanks so much, Program Director, Baba Mchunu. I think I can't agree with you more that you are in the right place. We're proud of our province and the work that we're doing. But of course, we would be prouder working with you hand in hand, especially in the manufacturing sector in our province. In thanking you, let me also recognize my colleagues sitting up there, both of them, Mr. Makube from DTI and Mr. Mapulu, who has just addressed us now. Let me start by recognizing that we're in July month. July in South Africa is associated with the founding democratic president of our country, Mr. Nelson Mandela, whose birthday was on the 18th of July. And therefore, we've just celebrated his contribution in his life to this country and to the world. And we always remain appreciative to the whole world for recognizing his birthday as a United Nations supported day to mark his celebrations, to mark his birthday. I want to believe that it's really, really a great honor for us to be in this manufacturing indaba. And we regard it as a very, very, very important event, not only in our province, but in the country as a whole. And I want to sincerely thank the organizers and the Industrial Efficiency Group for the work that you've done putting together this indaba. We note that the theme is localization and growth of an advanced manufacturing economy. And we go along with that 100%. We believe that this initiative, which I'm learning was initiated last year, among others by DTI and the private sector, was an excellent idea, and it remains an excellent idea, and I believe that it needs to be supported by all, national government, provincial government, even local government, and all the other role players, because its significance comes with regard to providing a platform for exchange of ideas between the small manufacturer, even the aspirant manufacturer, the middle manufacturer, the top manufacturer, bring all of them together to exchange ideas about what's happening in the industry. And for that, we remain very grateful. Of course, we're holding it in the Tegwini in KwaZulu-Natal, and we think that it's no coincidence. We are a province that is strategically very located. We are home to two ports, very important African ports on the eastern side of our shores as a country, Durban Port and the Richards Bay Port. We therefore, as a province, and as the two cities, Tegwini and Richards Bay, provide that proximity for transportation of exported goods or even imported goods to the country, into the country, and of course out of the country. And of course that in itself provides an incentive, it provides a conducive environment, It provides an encouraging environment, but of course, one which has to be combined with a number of other things in order to make it work, and to work for the province and to work for the country. But I'm just saying that KwaZulu-Natal is well positioned in terms of trade and in terms of promoting this particular sector. Of course, we do want to say that the industry itself, or the sector itself, it does have a number of threats. But maybe before I go to threats, just to talk about a few things. One, which I think are very important. One, to say, we note that the manufacturing industry at some point almost grew to the maximum. I wouldn't say completely maximum, but grew to the satisfaction of most of the people in the country, producing jobs to an increasing number of people, such that it was relied upon to provide jobs for the so-called poor whites at that time. And indeed, it was promising to be very competitive and to remain so sustainably over a period. But at the same time, we note what has happened up to 2014 into the industry, and it's not without some worries to some of us. The figures for last year, for instance, provide us with information that says, yes, this industry provides or contributes to the GDP something like 13.4% or so. But when you compare its contribution to annual growth to the GDP, as opposed to its overall contribution, there you begin to have a worry. Because the figure is very low, around 1% or 0.1% or so. Which means that for us in this Indaba, one of the things that we have to look into is to say, what is it that we need to do to make sure that, one, this sector grows in terms of its contribution to the GDP, but that it also grows in its contribution to economic growth. And that can only come if we remain maximally competitive in all the important aspects of the manufacturing industry. I know that on the side of government, there are a few things that we need to look into. One of them is the bureaucracy and negative effects thereof surrounding the services to the industry. Of course, the whole of government, and I'm sure led by DTI, we all are seeking to ensure that the environment from the side of government, it's such that it is characterized by maximum efficiency and maximum effectivity, and that we stay in touch with all the role players in the sector to remove any impediment, any frustration, any difficulty in terms of doing your work in this particular sector. But we note that we are not yet at the required level, and that we still have to do quite a lot of work in that regard. We note that we have to improve in terms of speed with which we respond to pertinent questions, those that require government, in regard to those who would want to invest but are from other countries, including processing issues of land availability and all those matters. But we also note that we have to do a lot of work with regard to the skills that are required to support a growing manufacturing industry in all our provinces. Of course, KwaZulu-Natal is the second largest economy in the province, in the country, following after Gauteng. And we note the implications thereof, both for this particular industry, but also for our own work that we need to do to support this manufacturing industry. We take the line that says that South Africa has relatively done well so far, but of course, a lot of work needs to be done, particularly in the areas that I have identified. Now, with regard to issues of transformation, we believe that those who have reached the top or who are at the top and therefore are doing well in the manufacturing industry need to work with us so that we pull those who are in the middle, we pull those who are emerging, so that we expand this industry. We can expand the industry if we share ideas in the hierarchy. We can expand this if we share ideas across the provinces, but we can also expand this industry if we share our knowledge first in the SADC region and with the rest of the continent. I do want us to note the initiatives that are being taken to bring SADC countries together from different angles. And it shows on the side of politicians in the region that they recognize the importance of working together so that we expand our industries, but also provide jobs for our people and create generally a conducive climate for all our people. Now, I'm then saying we need to find ways of networking and of sharing information, especially information that work. I would request that we don't shy away from difficult questions if you come across such, and if you believe there are such questions. I believe that if during your discussions you realize that there are certain questions or certain issues that government needs to respond to, raise those questions without any fear and without any favor. Put them on the table. One thing that all of you need to note about government is that even if you get appointed as Minister of Trade and Industry, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden you have all the expertise in the industry. And by the way, on the day of your appointment, all that happens is that your phone rings and you get told that you have now been appointed Minister of this and that. It can happen while you are sitting with your friends in a restaurant. And then at the end of the conversation, you have to tell them that, no, look, I'm now minister. When on sitting on the table, you really were not. And you tell them, I'm now Minister of Trade and Industry, or of that department and that department. That really illustrates the fact that you don't go to any school to train, to hold a particular portfolio in government, and therefore you can't claim any expertise, especially with, immediately. You learn, and it takes a while to learn. Instead, you are the people who are in the field. You are the people whose hands are actually dirty, working throughout, day in and day out, working in this particular industry. And therefore you understand it. It is for those reasons that we recognize your contribution. It is for those reasons that we recognize your thinking. It is also for those reasons that we recognize the potential that you have in expanding, working with government in expanding this industry by providing ideas that could actually expand our horizon, all of us. And therefore, the challenge that you have is to say during this endeavor, government still has to address 1, 2, 3, including in the labor market. How is the labor market dispensation affecting this particular industry? Do we have enough flexibilities that are required by this industry to grow? Do we have good prospects for growth? Is this industry making enough contribution to the GDP and to economic growth? What are the impediments? What needs to be done right now? We are prepared to work with you. And in the province itself, we do recognize certain initiatives that are being taken by individual companies. One particular such example is Toyota, who, in our view, are doing an excellent job. And we wish them to, of course, grow. They now are able to manufacture the minibus, the Quantum, and they've been able to invest upwards of 500 million rand. And this is contributing to the economy of the province and the expansion of this particular industry. Of course, we have a vision in terms of our NDP. All we need to do here is to ask questions whether this vision that was spelled out for 2030 with regard to this particular sector is realizable. And of course, to advise all of us to say, these are the things that you need to do in order to realize that particular vision. But of course, as I end, we are delighted that the majority of the people who are here come from this province, which means that you have realized the importance of this particular initiative, even for the people of KwaZulu-Natal, but in particular for you as the role players in the industry. We do, of course, want this industry to grow because it comes with prospects for jobs, which is the most serious problem. When we say there are triple challenges, and when you look at those triple challenges, poverty, inequality, and unemployment, you realize that you may as well focus on one problem or challenge, and that is unemployment. And therefore, we value the potential contribution of this particular industry in dealing with the problem of unemployment. And therefore, let's seize this opportunity, and I'm advised that this is going to be an annual event, and we welcome that idea of this indaba being held in the province on an annual basis, led by the organizers. All that we want to assure them with is our support, our involvement, and our recognition that this is important for all of us. And we will therefore stay very close to the organizers of this initiative so that we keep on supporting them, and we want to see the manufacturing indaba annually to grow in KZN and to involve more of our people, including those who come from rural areas. Because it is only by doing so, coming together, having conversations, checking the impact on an annual basis of our indaba, and checking on resolutions whether we're going forward or we're not going forward. Having said all this, once more we thank the organizers and we thank you for this opportunity and we wish you all the best, and we know whatever will be achieved here, it will also be our achievement, and therefore we will stay in partnership with the organizers in seeing through everything that we're trying to do in this particular endeavor. Thank you very much.